Well, how you doing, America? I just wanted to fill y'all in on a little bit of information down here in the heartland of Texas about the United States government and some other things. And here, what we have here is a drone, right? And what I was just over at one of my neighbor's houses. I'm speaking like a redneck on purpose because I really like to mess with the United States government because they tortured me after they used me for a illegal hit job on Dan Patrick. And the way they did that was they gave me Dan Patrick's old phone number, and I was married to a Russian. And what they did was, since I was married to a Russian, they got a FISA warrant on me after I had received Dan Patrick's old phone number. Let me get this nicotine gum out of my mouth right quick. What they did is, well, I was in the Army, and they put this illegal technology in me that they didn't tell us about, and that's what Bill Gates about to put in everybody, by the way. And Bill Gates, he's really pushing this vaccine, and what it is a slavery shot. It's not a vaccine. Everybody needs to start calling these shots slavery shots. But what really happened while I was in the military is they put this technology in me so that later on in life they could use me to take out a political opponent named Dan Patrick. And that political opponent I just happened to get his old phone number, and I was married to a Russian. Well, and what happened is they was able to collect his metadata legally because they got a FISA warrant on me because they mind controlled me to marry the Russian while I was in Korea. And as the United States government and the military did that. And so they could later on take out a military opponent, a political opponent. And what they did to do that's quantum AI. Hey, let's just get to the point here. So I got this drone, right? And I was over at a neighbor's house earlier. And I'm going to start talking normal now, just so that y'all don't think that I'm some sort of stupid fucking idiot. While I was in the military, I worked for Special Forces. And little did they know, it's kind of like the Navy SEALs that they put on that helicopter that one time. And they told them, hey, everybody get on the helicopter. We got to go somewhere. Well, they just got done with a secret mission. And once they got all those Navy SEALs on that helicopter, they got them up in the air and blew the helicopter up so they'd never talk, right? Well, see, that's not going to happen here because I got a whole lot of dead man switches, right? But what you got going on these days is the NSA has a remote neural monitoring program. So they made these drones legal, right? Well, I was over at a neighbor's house earlier, and not really, but I was. And what he was telling me about is you can take these things and put on there a switch, right? And you can take them out and fish. Well, wasn't too long ago I was being harassed by the federal government. You can look at my YouTube site. It's the Pentagon. They were pissed off because I survived after they used me to take out Dan Patrick. They tried to kill me. I have the records that show that I had 3 heart attacks and a stroke shortly after that. And right before all of that, I had checked out in a physical at Buckeye Pipeline to be completely, Buckeye Pipeline, to be completely healthy. Completely healthy. Nothing was wrong with me. And I just magically had 3 strokes, or 3 heart attacks and a stroke shortly after they were done collecting Dan Patrick's metadata on my phone that was his old phone. So these helicopters started coming out to my house, and I got to thinking about it. It's like, why did they make those drones legal when they're the perfect terrorist weapon? Of course, what you'll never understand about anything unless you watch all the videos on my YouTube channel is on Emergency 911, that was Satan and the archangels and all of them. You see, the spiritual realm called God and said, send everybody down here, called the cops, basically, because these people are using quantum AI to hack our minds. And if you'll watch that last video that I just made, it'll spell out for you the bandwidth problem that's currently being solved, and Elon Musk talked about that because he's also an alien who's destroying the Pentagon right now because they're basically turning the entire country into slaves using Bill Gates and things like that. And Bill Gates is a Russian agent, an election guard. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty here. On this drone that they made legal, what you can do is run a wire to a blasting cap, right? Run a wire to, they just told me I'm dead. See, it doesn't matter. They're dead. I'm not dead. They're dead. because they tortured one of their own veterans. 22 of them a day are murdered by the very people that send us to fight pointless wars. That's the Pentagon, their USA SOC. See, I was a Green Beret, and I still am. And there's certain factions of the military who are trying to destroy the military right now because the military sold out to globalists who use veterans for political hit jobs after they've sent them to fight in pointless wars, like Afghanistan, where we went over there for absolutely nothing. And we also went out to take Saddam Hussein because the Pentagon always leaps before they look because they're doing the bidding of the people that are trying to destroy America. That's how stupid the generals are in this country. They're absolutely ridiculously stupid slaves. And you're absolutely ridiculously fucked. All of you. So what you do is you take this drone and you hook the little wire up to the switch on your remote, and you buy tanzanite. It's a blasting cap that goes into the tanzanite, right? So you hook the that's why they made it legal, because they have remote neural monitoring now in case that you ever think of something like this, which I didn't think about it. Somebody just told me about it, and I'm warning the FBI right now. This is a threat, okay? This is a threat that the FBI needs to take very seriously, so I'm making this video for the FBI to understand this threat. But the reason that it's not a threat and the reason that they made drones legal is because they've hacked all of our minds, and they're remote neural monitoring us at the Pentagon. And once they are capturing the data that tells them that you are a terrorist, well, they'll try to kill you like they tried to kill me after they used me for a political hit job, a veteran. 22 of them a day are done this way. Illegal human research, and they drive them into committing suicide after they're done testing technology out on them. And the reason that they test the technology out on the veterans is because they're a satanic cult, and they get more evil PowerPoints on their belt when they kill patriots. And that's the 4-star generals, 3-star generals, everybody at the Pentagon, the CIA, the entire United States government is a satanic cult. They work for the enemy, and they use troops. They suck them into the military, send them overseas to fight pointless wars for absolutely nothing, so that later on they can do illegal human research on them after they pumped them with this nanotechnology in the military that turns them into slaves. And they tested the technology out on the veterans. We were the beta test, or the soldiers, so that when Bill Gates got ready, a Russian agent who put together Election Guard, they could do this to the entire population and enslave everybody and drive everybody into committing suicide. And it's absolute Nazi genocide. That's the Pentagon at work. A pentagon is a pentagram. A pentagram is satanic cult. That is what the Pentagon is. The WHO, World Health Organization, has a needle with a snake wrapped around it. So with all that being said, I'm going to show you how to take out a black helicopter whenever the government gets mad at you and they come to your house and harass you. You can look at the videos on my YouTube channel. And these are backed up at places like Infowars.com, and other people have Tulsi Gabbard's about to destroy all of you because she knows now that you sent her to fight in a pointless war. And if you'll watch Idiocracy, I'm Upgrade, who gave her all the dirt on the Pentagon so that she could absolutely destroy you. And you're all going to die, basically. You're all about to get lethal injections after you're convicted, and you're going to die. That's the game plan. And it's all there. All the evidence is clear. So when these black helicopters come to your house, you'll take the drone, and this was a FBI. This is something that, you know, I'm satanic Jesus. So I have to warn the FBI, who's also involved in the puppet leader program, because they're also Nazis. And they help cover all of this up so that America can torture their own citizen. Targeted individuals all over the country are being tortured by electromagnetic technology that the CIA and the Pentagon and the NSA all are involved in, so that they can get their satanic rocks off and murder their own populace. They're a death cult is what they are. But see, I had other technology present that superseded the technology that they were using on me to try to mind control me into suicide. And then they bring the black helicopters over to my house to harass me. I got all of that on video, the whole 9 yards. How they allowed these to be legal, which is the perfect terrorist weapon, and I'm going to tell you how it's the perfect terrorist weapon. You can literally wire a blasting cap up to it, and then on your remote control, you got a little button. So that button will go to tanzanite, where you shoot it with a gun. You can buy it at Academy. So you got a brick of C4, basically, attached to the drone. And then you got a blasting cap going into the C4. FBI, this is something you really need to take seriously, because this is going to be used for a terrorist weapon at some point in the future. I had a vision about it because I'm the illegal cog that, well, I'm not illegal. I'm a actual natural prophet like Nostradamus, but IARPA realized that I was a natural prophet like Nostradamus. So what they did was come here with their technology, and if you'll watch Minority Report, where the cogs are sitting in the pool and they're merged with AI, once they're merged with AI, that's considered a hybrid. This is on IARPA's own website, how they merge a human with quantum AI and use them as a oracle or a cog, and they devastate that person's life so that they can benefit from that person, as in their satanic cult suck the life out of that person. That's exactly what they do. They're an absolute satanic cult, the United States government is. They are the epitome of satanic pieces of shit. So the black helicopters that come and harass me, you'd take the drone and you would run the wire to a blasting cap that is encapsulated within tanzanite. And then when the black helicopter comes, you would run it up to the black helicopter that is coming to harass you, a big piece of C4, and you'd hit the trigger, and this is how you'd take care of that once. And this is going to happen to a lot of citizens in America who are considered dissidents because you're patriots. So I'm telling you, they legalized drones for this very reason, so that you could blow the black helicopters out of the sky. FBI, so I'm just seeing this in the vision. This is a warning to you, to something that you might want to look into. And I know you don't want to, because there's no reason for it, because the NSA is illegally hacking our minds. So if you have this thought and you actually set it up, well, they would take preventive measures to prevent what I'm saying to happen. They'd probably come arrest you or something like that. So that's what I'm saying, FBI, is this is something you need to look out for. But you don't need to look out for it, because the NSA would know you're doing this, because they're reading your minds illegally, and they also use that to their benefit so that they can election meddle. Check out Election Guard. That is Bill Gates' design for the next to count our votes in the next election. And also NewsGuard. Bill Gates is a known, no doubt about it, has been in Moscow, made deals with the Kremlin. You can Google this. Bill Gates works with the Russians. Sergey Brin at Google is a Russian who owns most of Microsoft. Microsoft put together the new Election Guard software to count our votes in the next election. The guy that's coming out with this vaccine that's got nanotechnology in it. So DARPA is going to count our votes with Bill Gates software, who is owned by Russia. These are facts. Election meddling and collusion with Russia. It was all set up to point that out at a later date. It's all in Pinky and the Brain, the proof. Just YouTube Pinky and the Brain and Bill Gates, and it'll pull up the video of Bill Gates is driven by Snowball. Snowball is Sputnik, the Russian technology that supposedly drove Trump. But you're not, remember they just released Flynn, right? They released General Flynn. All of a sudden, that's because I emailed DIA and told them, hey DIA, Bill Gates is a Russian agent, okay? Why did they go after General Flynn when Bill Gates is the deep state's poster child? World Health Organization, needle with a snake wrapped around it. Bravo logo. It's in The Simpsons too. Okay. So what you would do with this drone when those black helicopters comes is you drive the wire to the blasting cap inside the tanzanite. You can buy this online. It's real easy. You can buy the explosives at Academy. So when the black helicopter's coming to harass you over your house, run the drone up with the C4 attached to it and crash it into, or real close to, the black helicopter. Hit the button. The blasting cap will blow up the C4, and that would take the helicopter out. And if you make a video like this before you do it, explaining how the NSA is remote neural monitoring, that basically lets the government know that you're untouchable and there isn't a damn thing they can do to you about it, because I've already made this video and this is evidence now. So when I go to trial to explain why I blew a black helicopter up that's harassing me at my house and the black helicopter crashed, they already have the evidence ahead of time that's going to make sure that I don't ever go to trial. And they can't kill me now because a lot of friends of mine have this evidence in these videos. It's because they want to murder me. They already tried to murder me, but they didn't realize I had the other technology. Marcellus Wallace. Marcellus. Lockheed Martin. Yeah, Lockheed Martin set all of y'all up because you're a bunch of fucking idiots. And right, so Lockheed Martin has y'all by the balls now. But Lockheed Martin hacks minds too, so they're not completely innocent here. And the patent that Lockheed Martin's using is my patent. So it is a patent that actually allows you to forecast future events like you'd never believe, because you're using relativity in a satellite up in outer space that's attached to a hybrid down on the ground. And that hybrid is connected to a quantum computer, and the imagination of the hybrid with that natural prophet is what I was. That's why they use me as the oracle or the cog. And they tortured me because President Trump got elected and they thought Hillary was going to get elected. So they tortured their own cog, the guy that's actually capable of creating the future. So, they think I'm creating the future. I'm not. I'm actually forecasting the future because I'm a prophet. So no matter how you want to slice it, I can see the future. And I've proven that in about 30,000 time-stamped emails. And that was Hillary's actual emails. There were never 30,000 emails. That was all bullshit. There's actually 30,000 emails that I wrote to the Defense Intelligence Agency telling them everything that's going to happen before it happens. And I was labeled as a terrorist, but that was after they used me and tortured me. And I wrote the John 4chan post. I wrote that because I knew they hacked my mind and I'm a natural prophet. And I seen the Vegas play coming. So I wrote the John 4chan post to catch them in the act and then hold that over the entire government's heads and make them my slaves instead of me being your slaves. You see how that works, DOD and Pentagon? So what you'd want to do is fly the drone up with the blasting cap on a trigger that's placed inside of Tanzanite or C4 and blow the helicopter up that's harassing you over your house. And then you got to stop and ask yourself, how did they ever make drones legal? Well, that was virtue signaling. They made drones legal because everybody's been turned into drones. They're controlling our minds with satellites and 5G and nanotechnology. It was ET, alien code, ET at speed. Deep state, spin it around backwards, ET at speed. ET told on everybody about them using the technology to remove our free will. And that the coronavirus and everything else and of that nature is what's going on. That's all virtue signaling too. They're turning us into slaves. And that's ET trying to warn the public that these people are using technology to alter our genetic structure in our frickin' everything, and they can control your minds to believe anything they want you to believe, and they're literal tyrannical pieces of shit at the Pentagon, and they're all exposed and they're all fucked. Okay, Pentagon? So, so this drone right here could literally take out a helicopter with that explosives on it, and they made that legal right around the time that they turned everybody in the United States into drones. And that is because they implemented the Skynet, or they activated the Skynet, which is in Terminator. You can watch that movie, Terminator 3, I think. So the Skynet's activated. It's controlling everybody's minds and reading every thought that comes off of everybody's mind so that they know when a terrorist attack is going to happen before it happens. And that is how drones become legal, because all of a sudden, that's the virtue signal of ET. Now the humans are drones, so we can have legal drones, right? There you go. So they would have never made it legal if they weren't reading our minds for the reason that I just told you. I can turn this into a bomb that takes out a helicopter. Just like that. And all of the materials are available at Academy. and your local blasting caps, and you can rig it up one way or the other. All you need is an explosion inside of that tanzanite, turns this drone right here into a bomb that takes out a helicopter, FBI. And I just, you know how I do, whenever all this information streams into my mind, what I do is turn around and I give it to the Defense Intelligence Agency and make a video of it, and I give it to the FBI, because I think that's something that y'all need in order to prevent terrorist attacks. I'm just doing my civic duty. Because I'm a concerned citizen, and I don't appreciate the fact that the government turned us all into slaves using a remote neural monitoring system that doesn't just read your mind, it controls your mind. The CIA gave Amazon $600 million to get around the Freedom of Information Act. The NSA gave Google $500 million, who has a Russian agent, Sergey Brin, in Google. Okay, even Benjamin Netanyahu, President Netanyahu, said you drop a Soviet guy off in Palo Alto, and that Soviet guy will develop a system which is DeepMind. And the NSA took their $500 million, gave it to DeepMind, and instead of just sucking the information out of your mind like the NSA was already doing, they gave DeepMind the capability to get around the Freedom of Information Act, the capability to hack people's minds and use them as slaves. Human trafficking, the NSA and the CIA are both involved in that. The Pentagon's involved into turning and using veterans as drones themselves to take out political opponents like Dan Patrick. I survived because I had Marcellus Wallace technology, who was watching y'all and capturing all of the data the entire time you were using me. And the media, transhumanist media, which is the corporate media, are all involved in this scheme to absolutely enslave the masses, because they were all promised to be elite if they went along with the plan by selling a fake flu so that they could use that information or use that strategy to pump the technology that the government put into me while I was a soldier into the masses and turn us all into slaves. That is their actual playbook. And I am telling you, when you try to point that out on social media and it's all being censored and the government shows up to your house to harass you with black helicopters, and I've got a lot of video footage of them doing that, what you would want to do, and I can say this now because now I'm untouchable because I have more dirt on the government than they have on me, and that's a fact. And Tulsi Gabbard has every bit of that dirt. Okay, so Tulsi, I was just trying to show everybody how you turn a drone into a bomb for these black helicopters that come and fly over your house in order to warn the FBI that there might be somebody out there that's just crazy enough to do that, because I want them to be prepared for anything, because I am a concerned citizen. Yeah, basically all of that. That's E.T. Remember the finger in Wendy's chili bowl? A finger. What's a chili bowl? It's a butthole with shit in it, right? And Wendy, what comes out of a butthole? Wind. Remember that? They found a finger in Wendy's chili bowl. Just Google finger in Wendy's, the hamburger restaurant. They found a finger. This is mind control that set that up. A finger in Wendy's chili bowl, right? That's exactly what took place there, Pentagon. I stuck my finger in your chili bowl. And you're all a bunch of coward pieces of shit fucking idiots! So go fuck yourselves, assholes. Something else that the public needs to be made well aware of is about 6 months ago you could YouTube the keyword targeted individuals, and thousands upon thousands of names or videos would pop up on YouTube of targeted individuals who are literally being tortured in their own homes by electromagnetic weapons that supposedly took out Kurt Cobain. That's how the NSA drove Kurt Cobain into committing suicide. They've hacked everybody's minds. Well, apparently the targeted individuals who were telling their story online so well, they were telling their story so well, or their testimony so well, that the big tech started censoring the keyword targeted individuals. Now, why would big tech censor the keyword targeted individuals if there was nothing to it? The United States government is literally merging those people with AI, turning them into drones, turning them into absolute avatars to do illegal human research. And believe it or not, big tech is involved in that because they're basically just arms of the CIA and the NSA and the Pentagon and the New World Order and the Switzerland. All of these people are in it together. They're absolute tyrannical pieces of shit. So they take their technology and they hack people's minds and use them as slaves to do illegal human research while they monitor their work on the YouTube channel that they mind control them into using. Right? See, I was different. I was hacking them. We hack hackers who hack hackers. So I was hacking them while they were hacking me to understand their operating system. But at the end of the day, the government, which is big tech, the big tech is the government now. Pentagon, all of them. Washington doesn't do anything. They're all dead. Okay, they're mind-controlled slaves who are driven by this technology. They censored the keyword targeted individual so that the public couldn't see how many targeted individuals there are across the country while they set up the sentient world simulation as they controlled these people's minds to do illegal human research, turn them into slaves to create a merged with AI super brain. They're nothing more than slaves, the targeted individuals. And they murdered them like they murder 22 veterans a day of the United States government. Like they pump mercury into the Bible Belt to kill Christians. And I have a chart that proves that. And they use the flu shot in the Bible Belt more heavily than they do anywhere else in the country. And mercury causes the Alzheimer's. And mercury is in the flu shot, which is pumped more heavily in the Bible Belt in order to get rid of the Bible Belt. They are murdering Christians in America, the United States government, who is a satanic cult. The Pentagon is a pentagram. And they're all dead. Okay, so all of you who've been used for this illegal human research, targeted individuals, you're about to have a really big payday. And all of those people that were involved in those programs are going to have, they're going to get their own injection. And you can be present in the little window where there's a lethal injection after a murderer kills a bunch of people. So you have the victim's family come and watch the lethal injection of that'll be the 4-star generals, the 3-star generals, DARPA, the CIA, the directors of these programs, Sundar, Jeff Bezos, all of those guys will be convicted of murder, genocide. They'll be brought into a room where they'll be pumped full of lethal injection, and these are the people that attacked you with the electromagnetic technology to enslave you, to use you for illegal human research. And if hopefully they'll pass a bill before all that happens to where the victims can actually pump the lethal injection into these tyrants and watch them die. I'm hoping that's what happens. That's what I would do if I was a legislator. Oh, and they've been using that technology to election meddle for years. If you've ever wondered how you get a country divided right down the middle, it's because the Illuminati, right, the ones that control the country, they use this technology to divide the country right down the middle. And the way that they do that is to create a 50-50 Democrat-Republican country so that they can divide and conquer. That's their system. They're actually mind-controlling the populace to be divided so that they can divide and conquer us. That's their system. They've been doing it for years. Polio vaccine, political input output, the underlying message, ET at speed, deep state. Sputnik means fellow traveler or agent. It has nothing to do with satellites. Fellow traveler or agents is the same thing as deep state, ET at speed. It's the same thing. But the government came out with technology that can control our minds, and ET left all of the underlying messaging in there to give the holy people ownership of the land when all of this came out, and the evil people implemented the policy to use this technology on us to control us like slaves. And the fourth beast comes in and separates the good people from the evil people, and that's exactly what happened. The evil people used the technology on the good people to divide and conquer, but the underlying symbolism told the story, and that's deep state. Deeper than deep, you know, the old porno. Deeper than deep, deep throat. So E.T. at speed, spin deep state around backwards. It's kind of like NWO says own, or New World Order, the anagrams, de-wooled, worn. That's basically E.T. just letting you know, holy people, that E.T. set up all of these evil people, and right at the time they were going to implement the slavery switch to control all of you to die, E.T. come up through me to tell you what the underlying symbolism was to oust the evil people so that you can have these four-star generals, these directors of these agencies, people like John Brennan, all of the politicians who are involved in all of this, big tech, the CEOs, every single one of them are guilty because they are guilty by association because they're a collective mind. And you have a collective mind of psychopath murderers who want to genocide you. And the holy people learn at the right time what they were up to, and now all of those people are the ones who are guilty of genocide. So now you're in the window, targeted individuals in the entire country who were used to election medal, watching the people who have, isn't it ironic, they use shots to put the technology in you? That's how E.T. works. So the irony of it is E.T. at speed said, hey, here's the irony, we're going to give you shots by, or lethal injection. You're going to death by lethal injection so that the people that you victimize can watch all of you die through a window on national television. It's kind of like a public hanging, medieval. I'm going to, like Marcella said, I'll get medieval on your ass. So we're all going to watch you be lethal injected, and some of the worst victims will be able to pump the poison into all of these directors and the people that are in charge veins, and we'll all watch all of you die. That's basically the way it was all set up. Hey, Elon Musk, Muskrat Love. Yeah, that was E.T. put that song. You already know that. Tulsi's been, yeah. See, it doesn't matter. I can tell everybody who my team is because we're untouchable now that I have everybody by the balls, and the Pentagon didn't know that Elon had that information that's going to be very necessary in the near future to save humanity, including themselves, even though most of these Satan worshipers don't want to save humanity, but they want to save themselves. See, if y'all wanted to curb the population trend and you started shooting yourselves in the head, well, I'd say, yeah, we got a problem, but you're curbing the population trend by killing people, which is murder. So what I wanted to get at, Elon, is when you watch this, do me a favor, Elon, and get in touch with Marilyn Hewson, who I dropped that patent off with. It was only about a quarter of the patent. And tell her that I have the rest of the patent that is very necessary. And Lockheed from the future is actually mad at Lockheed from the present because Lockheed from the future is using my patent in order to manipulate the chain of events, string theory, that whole kind of scenario there, quantum, you understand all that. I don't want to, I'm just a dumb redneck from the bio there who's an alien who translates information into exactly what you need, Elon. So tell Marilyn Hewson that she needs to hire me at a rate of at least $5 million a year if she wants the rest of that patent, and she needs to guarantee me that I'm going to be the new CEO when this is all over with. And me and yourself and I, Elon, are going to start the Helium-3 project, which I have a video on my YouTube channel that expels out from like 15 years ago, a project I did that spells out exactly probably what you're involved in with right now. And I also have the rest of the information that can bring that to fruition for yourself, Elon. So what we're going to do is we're going to take ownership of Lockheed Martin now, and the Pentagon, and the CIA, and basically the entire government, because they're a big satanic cult of losers who just enslaved the entire country. And they're all going to be exposed. And we're going to help Tulsi Gabbard, part of my team, and Elon Musk, and You already know the rest of the names. I've mentioned most of them. Alex Jones and David Icke. And you can't touch them, and here's why. They all have pieces to the puzzle that ensures that we get the rest of the technology that ensures our survival for this approaching cosmic event that's going to wipe out the entire planet. And even Satan's on board with making sure that comes, because what y'all don't realize, a lot of you think Satan wants to murder everybody. That's not true. If Satan murdered everybody while he was trapped on this planet, he wouldn't have anybody to fuck with. And that's why, truly, your logic's all fucked up and mine's not. And basically, all of you satanic cult like Bill Gates and the rest of you is just a bunch of fucking idiots, to be honest with you. So what you all need to do is bow down and sucketh upon my dicketh, because Jesus has landed, and he's going to rape all of you like he already has.